job is to make decisions. He can't pass the buck to anybody. No one else can do the deciding for him. There is no job like it on the face of the earth. In the power which is concentrated here at this desk, and in the responsibility and difficulty of the decision.
60 GOP national security experts signed a scathing open letter opposing Trump, calls Trump's vision of American power and influence, quote, wildly inconsistent and unmoored in principle.
If he governs in any way consistent with some of the things he said as a candidate, I would be very frightened.
He has neither the temperament nor the judgment to be president.
Say this flat out. Donald Trump is unfit to be president of the United States.
He's not fit to be president of the United States.
I know something of the solemn responsibility of leading. We must use our power wisely.
I think there are many people in the upper echelons of the military that are very concerned, not only about some of the things that Mr. Trump has already said he's going to ask the military to do, but more importantly, I think there's an inability for Mr. Trump, at least the way it's been seen, to take advice.
Right. And on what basis is he going to make his decisions? It certainly won't be on any sort of deep knowledge of foreign affairs and national security, because he doesn't have any.
He seems to think that he has all the answers, and that he doesn't need any advice from staff or anybody else.
And that falls under the category of toxic leadership.
Our diplomats are instructed to avoid purely rhetorical hostility. We do not need to use threats to prove we are resolute.
Mr. Trump's bombast is already alarming our allies and fueling the enmity of our enemies.
He doesn't have the temperament or judgment to control himself when he gets mad.
He would shoot from the hip. He would rely on gut instinct.
He is erratic. He says crazy things.
He said one stupid, reckless thing after another, and he's shown absolutely no temperament to try to learn the things that he doesn't know, and he doesn't know just about everything.
There is only one sane policy. A nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought.
We're about to turn over the nuclear codes of the United States to an erratic individual.
He's been talking about the possibility, the future option of using a nuclear weapon against our Western European allies.
His finger would be on the nuclear trigger, and this is a man who doesn't know what the nuclear triad is.
This is not somebody who should be handed the nuclear codes.
I think you have to ask yourself, do I want a person of that temperament control the nuclear codes? And as of now, I'd have to say no.
Regardless of your politics, whether you are Republican or Democrat, your fate is tied up with what is done here in this room.
Please welcome Admiral John Hutson from New Hampshire.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is John Hutson, and unlike Donald Trump, there are two things that I know an awful lot about: law and order. For 11 years, I was a law school dean. For 30 years, I served proudly in the United States Navy, including as the Judge Advocate General. Thank you. Go Navy. Donald Trump calls himself the law and order candidate, but he will violate international law. In his words, he endorses torture at a minimum. He'll order our troops to commit war crimes like killing civilians. And he actually said, you have to take out their families. And what did he What did he say when he was told that was illegal? He said, "Our troops won't refuse, believe me." This morning, this very morning, he personally invited Russia to hack us. That's not law and order, that's criminal intent. Donald Trump would abandon our allies and let more countries get nuclear weapons. He lies about donating to veterans, and he called the military that I served in a disaster. It's embarrassing enough that he's the face of one of our political parties. The real disaster would be if we let Donald Trump become the face of the country that we love. More than 120 Republican national security leaders recently warned that Donald Trump would, in their words, make America less safe. He even mocks our POWs like John McCain. I served in the same Navy as John McCain. I used to vote in the same party as John McCain. Donald, you're not fit to polish John McCain's boots. But, America, we have a better choice. Hillary Clinton is the only candidate who knows how to work with our allies, who has a specific plan to defeat ISIS. She's smart and she's steady. She has the experience, the temperament, and the spine to be a superb commander-in-chief. She knows what makes us the envy of the world. It's not our abundant natural resources, or our resilient economy, or even that we have the strongest military on earth. Our strength comes from who we are and who we've always been, our humanity. If we lose our humanity, we lose the battle and we lose the war. ISIS and other radical groups have no humanity. That's their weakness. Our enemy can't defeat us militarily. Victory for them won't be found on the battlefield. For them, victory is to make us more like them. People who torture, who destabilize the international order, who target innocents because they don't look like them and don't pray like them. Donald Trump is a walking, talking recruiting poster for terrorists. And that's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. ISIS literally used Trump in a commercial. You know, you can tell a lot about a person by whom they admire. Eleanor Roosevelt, Nelson Mandela, Dorothy Rodham. These are Hillary Clinton's heroes. Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump admires Donald Trump. And Saddam Hussein, and Kim Jong-un, and of Vladimir Putin, he said, and I quote, in terms of leadership, he's getting an A. I taught national security law. Praising dictators was an automatic F in my class. Let me tell you something. In 2008, as the Dean of the University of New Hampshire School of Law, I invited each presidential candidate to talk about terrorism I'm not sure what they're saying. To talk about terrorism with me and other retired admirals and generals. Of all the candidates that we met with, Hillary Clinton was by far, the best prepared and the most knowledgeable. She listened carefully to our arguments. She tested us. We had more than 500 years of collective experience, and we learned from her. And this was before she served as our Secretary of State, before she brokered a ceasefire in Gaza, before she rallied the world to sanction Iran and advised President Obama to take out bin Laden. And she restored our reputation in the world. Anyone who served with the young men and women of our armed forces knows how serious it is to send them in harm's way. When you're a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, you don't get to choose your commanders. But when you're a citizen, you have the responsibility to choose a commander-in-chief who will keep us safe, strong, and secure. Choose Hillary. Thank you all.
Please welcome Kristen Kavanaugh from San Diego.